was perhaps, if my memory serves well, 6 or 7 years ago this happened. But it really changed my perception of how we operate in the world. I may have related this before to some of you, or if you have heard me speak before, maybe you've heard this story, but I believe it serves, even if we are, as a memory, as a reminder for all of us, even if you have heard this. So 6 or 7 years ago, I was in rental accommodation, and when I first went to see this property, I made it very clear that I was interested in staying in the property for a long term, and I wasn't interested in having any short lets. And I'm also work in the property industry, so I know the area and I know how it works. And I've had lots of interaction with estate agents, and I know, unfortunately, that there is a lot of lack of honesty. And I'm not saying that all estate agents are dishonest, but there is often a lack of honesty in the way, and integrity in the way that they operate. So I took on this tenancy agreement, and within a few months, or a couple of months of entering the property, I had received contact from the agents that they wanted to start showing viewings for the property, because the property was up for sale. Now, this was a shock for me because I had just taken on this tenancy agreement, and I was in there for only a couple of months, and I made it very clear at the onset that I was interested in staying here for a long time. That this would have resulted in me having to vacate the property and start the process all over again. So I felt that I was being unfairly dealt with, because I paid for the induction fees, and I paid for the referencing fees, and I paid the fees for the agents. And I felt that it was unfair that I paid all these fees, and now in a few months' time I'm going to have to start this process all over again, as well as the headache of having to take all my things and my belongings and go and find somewhere else. So I started having an exchange, first and foremost, over the phone with the estate agent, and we had a bit of an argument about this, and we got nowhere because, unfortunately, I could see that there was, we were head to head, and she was arguing with me, and I hate to say that she was projecting her ego, but that's what it felt like. So anyway, there was a lot of tension between us, and I ended the call and I said, I'm going to send you an email. So I sent an email, and she responded, and I sent another email, and she responded, and there was this fight going on back and forth between me and her. And whilst this is happening, at the same time, I'm also internally building up a lot of resentment towards her. And essentially, the ego has hijacked our way of thinking when we are in this feeling tension. And so the exchanges were reflective of this. And it was quite an intense sort of exchange, to the extent that I was being burdened by this even outside of the email exchanges. And I was consumed with thoughts about this throughout the day because of what was being said in these emails and the exchanges that were going on. And so I took some time out to reflect about this particular situation. And I reached a point within myself that I said, look, I can't continue like this. Because first of all, it's holding me and weighing me down. And secondly, I feel that I'm unable to be in my own element. I'm unable to be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and feel a sense of being open and expansive and free, and all those other things. So I decided that from now on, I'm no longer going to project my ego onto her. I'm no longer going to hold resentment towards her. I'm no longer going to have this energy of hate towards her. And I made a decision within myself that from now on, I'm only going to send out love to her. And it was a feeling which was, and I'm sure those of you experience this, it's a sense of relief, a sense of release, a sense of letting go. It was a firm decision within myself that I'm letting go of this. I'm detaching myself from the situation. And no matter what she says to me or how she operates, I'll continue to show her love and understanding and appreciation. And you don't believe that I had so many exchanges between her and me before this, and I was asking for the money to be paid back to me, and they said that there was no way for this that could happen. The moment I made that intention and the moment I felt that sense of relief, a few minutes later I received an email from her saying that we've agreed to, on this case, on this occasion, we've agreed to return back your money, and we're really sorry for everything that's happened. And please accept our apologies. And this was a profound moment for me because it made me realize and understand that sometimes in life, what we contain within us is showing up in the experiences that we have. And when we can really let go, and we can really release ourselves from the ego mind and come back to a place of love, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also reciprocate that in creation. So this is one example of how becoming empty, which is the stage of takhliya, empty of our own selves, can help us to serve us in bringing back the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inside ourselves. We'll end there. I did want to at some point talk about a tahliya, which is the next stage, which is the stage of beautification, and also bring in a discussion on courage and how emptiness can help us and lead us to courage. But inshallah, we'll do that in the next session on Friday. So just to wrap up some of the conversation that we've had today, we looked at the sense of self and separation that it brings upon us, and how it creates a sociology of separation, which then leads to a pathology of separation, which is unfortunate. The bigger pandemic in the world today is not COVID-19, but it's our egos and our ego minds and our ego thinking that has hijacked our way of life. And we looked at how we can become more understanding and more forgiving, and how that will allow us to bring the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within us. We'll end there, and inshallah, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions that you'd like to ask, we'll take them now, inshallah.